everybody, and welcome back to my next video. This is a bit of a twist off of a series that I've already been doing for a while, which is my Dialing In series. And I wanted to do a Dialing In Dual Blended Amps edition, or start a new series where I'm not only going to be dialing in a single amp model anymore, but actually trying to combine two amp models in the same preset. I did a video in the Creating a Great Tone series just maybe 2-3 weeks ago where I was talking about blending dual amps and all the wonderful possibilities we can have with that. And it got me thinking, why don't we do a Dialing In series on the dual blended amps? And I'm gonna periodically just pick two amps that I really like and see if I can somehow, blend them together in a way that gives us kind of maybe the best of both worlds from both amps. Now, the funny thing about this is, some people might even say this is a little excessive, the finished tone that I get here, maybe we could have got something close with just one amp, but what fun is that, right? The beauty of the Helix is it gives us the ability to do so much, right? Combine effects and amps and anything we can think of. The sky's kind of the limit in a lot of ways. So I thought it would be fun to try this and see what kind of tones we can come up with by blending different amps. So in this first edition, I've taken the RevGen Red amp, which is the Rev Generator, 120, I believe, and the Placator Dirty, which is the Friedman BE100. Two of my favorite, rock amps or distorted amp models. And I thought, let's blend them together and see what we can do with them. The tone I came up with, I ended up doing a performance video with them, with this particular preset. And I used one of my favorite Kansas songs, Carry On My Wayward Son, a real classic. I wasn't, again, standard disclaimer, I wasn't trying to recreate that tone in any way, but the tone I had really worked well for the song. So go check out the performance video where I do all of the parts with no post-processing in the mix, and I recreate the Carry On My Wayward Son. That's going to be up right now. And this preset will also be up on Custom Tone at the time that this video posts. You guys can grab it, and I hope you like it. Anyways, let's go over to HX Edit and take a look and listen as to what I have. So here is the kind of the template that I was using, slightly modified. I didn't use an EQ block here because I just wasn't needing it. So I started with my LA Studio comp at the end, peak reduction of 5.5, gain of 5, mix of 100%, pretty standard stuff. Room reverb, I went a little bit bigger reverb on this one, slightly. I was just liking the way it sounded. Decay of 6.3 and a mix of 33%. I do have a delay here that I don't even know if I assigned to a pedal. I did use it on the lead part, so you can turn it on or off as you need. But note sync of a quarter note, feedback at 23%, mix of 23% with the transistor tape. Low and high shelf EQ, all the frequencies below 640 hertz. I'm not sure how I ended up there. It's a lot of times I'm at 650, but whatever. Minus 2 dB. And all the frequencies, that's supposed to be 2 kilohertz, above 2 kilohertz are plus 3 dB. So pretty standard stuff that I've done a lot in the past. But what I do here is I've taken two amp cab blocks, and you see up here on path A, I have the RevGen Red. And that's with a 412 Greenback 25 cabinet. I really like that cabinet. I go down to that cabinet a lot, and it's a real favorite of mine. With a 121 ribbon mic, 8 inches back, okay? Low cut of 80 hertz and high cut of 8 kilohertz on the cab block. Let's compare that to what I have on the Placator Dirty. Again, a 412 Greenback 25, but for the Placator, I decided to mic it with a 421 dynamic, 1 inch back with the same low and high cuts, okay? So same cabinet, two different mics, two different amps, and then we blend them together, right? So the settings on the RevGen Red are this. Drive at 3.5, bass of 4.6, mid treble presence, channel volume all at 10, and the master at 5, resonance at 7, aggression at 1. I don't believe I touched the deeper functions. Seg was 5, hum 0, ripple, bias, X all at 5, okay? So that was the settings for the RevGen Red. And on the Placator Dirty, I went with the drive at 6.6, bass at 0, mid treble presence all cranked to 10 as well, channel volume at 7.7, master at 5.2, seg at 5, HBE off, fat on, C45 off, and saturation off, and the other deeper functions I didn't touch. So those settings are what the amps, what I ended up with on the amps. And the way I blended between the two is I went with the channel volumes as I described in my Creating a Great Tone series on the dual amps, right? So it seems here we're getting a little more of the Rev Gen Red with some of the Placator Dirty kind of brought into the picture. So let's do this. Let's go over here and just route all of our signal to the A path. So all we're going to hear here is the Rev Gen Red, all right? And I'm going to just turn the reverb and the low and high shelf off, okay? And this sounds like this on these settings on the Rev Gen Red, as I just pointed out. All right, so that's what that sounded like. Let's turn on the reverb and the high and low shelf EQ. That sounded like this. Sorry for a little sloppy playing there. So that's the Rev Gen Red. Now let's go over and switch that all the way over to the Placator. And this is going to sound like this. So two tones that are kind of nice on their own. Now when I blend those two together with everything, and as I said, the channel volume is on 10 on the Rev Gen Red, the channel volume is on 7.7 on the Placator. So that's where I'm getting my balance between the two. And the final tone came out sounding like this. Now the beauty of this is we can blend them in different ways. Let's remember the 7.7 setting on the Placator here. What if I crank that up to 10? So both amps are now with the channel volume on 10, or I could reverse it and say go down to maybe around the 7.7 range on the Rev Gen Red to see what that does. So we can see by blending these, I'll go back to the way I had it, which just seemed to work really nice in the mix. We can really have a lot of different possibilities in blending the two amps and getting different characteristics of both. So we can play around with that with your channel volume and just kind of mess around until you find something you're happy with. For those folks who want to play this in stereo, remember we can also go to our merge block here and pan these. What happens if I take, the Rev Gen Red, pan it fully to the left and the Placator and pan it fully to the right? Now we get this. Or we could, you know, pan them maybe slightly closer together. Or play with it however you want. Make it back to mono where they're both just straight up the center. And that's the tone. Hopefully you guys like that. I hope you enjoyed seeing how I made that. Go watch the performance video for Carry On My Wayward Son where you're hearing just this. Oh, that was the other thing. If we bring the delay in, nothing special here. Subtle delay, not a big deal. You can put that in if you want on some leads. Assign it to a pedal if you want, or to a snapshot, whatever works for your ideals. So go grab this, try it on your system, tweak it to your guitar, play with those channel volume balances to blend the two amps in the way that suits your ideals and that you like. But as you hear it here, go check out the performance video and you'll hear exactly how I used it. And I hope you guys like it. And I hope you enjoyed seeing that. Hope you enjoyed the performance video. Please like the video, share it if you don't mind, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'll be back soon. I'm gonna do more of these dialing in sort of dual blended amp edition videos, and I think they'll be kind of enjoyable, and hopefully we can discover some new and interesting tones, and I'll be back soon with some of those. Thanks again so much for tuning in, guys, and ciao for now.